Hey, good morning. I want to show you some things I sold over the weekend. I actually had a pretty good weekend. Um, 28 sales, which is pretty good, depending, of course, on what the value of the sale is. Um, Equaled around $1,700, so that was good. You know, you always want more, but that was good. But I thought I would share with you. I'm not going to show you all 28 sales because I'm in the middle of shipping and I don't have them all pulled. But what I do have pulled are all the shoes, and I have a lot of shoes. I sell a lot of shoes. I love buying shoes. I just enjoy shoes. I don't really know why so much, but I really enjoy them. So this weekend I sold a fair amount of shoes. So I thought, well, that'd be kind of a neat thing to do is just pull the shoes that I sold, shoes and boots, and um, and just share them with you, the actual just the shoe sales. So I don't exactly know the total of the shoe sales. I'll give you the price they sold at, and if you want to add it up, you can. First pair of shoes that I sold actually sold overseas. There are the Nike Air Force One high shell sneakers women's. And I don't sell a lot of women's shoes because I don't know, I just don't. But whenever they are crossover between men's and women's, when you can look at a pair of shoes and like a hiking shoe or some basketball shoes or boots, I'll sell that in women's because uh, I know more about them, I suppose, is the real reason. But those sold for $60. Can't exactly remember what I paid for them. Um, I actually might have paid $15 for these. Paid up a little bit, but $60, that's pretty good. I sold these Adidas Predator Control Skin Red indoor soccer shoes. They're pretty nice. Um, they've been listed for quite a while. Do not remember what I paid for them. Um, Probably 10 or under would be my guess. And they sold for $55. I took an offer on them. They were listed for I think 74, and I took an offer. So um, okay, this is a nice pair of shoes. I've actually sold this pair. This is the second time. The first time I sold them, the buyer got them and did not fit, and so crossing my fingers, I'm hoping this time that they fit. They were fine. He liked them. They just did not fit. The brand is Santoni. It's a men's dress shoes. This is a loafer, slip-on loafer. Santoni. Maybe I can get that. It won't be any good for you to see, but good brand. It's kind of hit and miss. I mean, it holds its value. It does not sell super fast, but it sells well when it does sell as far as value wise. Um, and again, these are size 7D. Um, a lot of times people tell you not to buy small men's shoes, like 10, 11 is the size of sell, and that is true. But I have found that those smaller sizes, seven, even if you get a 6.5, if you get a seven, 7.5, 8, 8.5, I still buy them because a lot of, sorry to sound racial here, I don't mean to, but certain races, let's put it that way, certain races of people are smaller. They're shorter, they're smaller, they're built smaller, their feet are smaller. And so those ethnicities or races, whatever the right word is, of people have smaller feet and they like nice shoes too. So uh, I'm happy to sell them a good pair of shoes. So don't necessarily be afraid of a smaller size. Um, Now, does it sell immediately as fast as maybe a 10 or 11? Maybe not, but they do sell, and I'm happy to wait for the money. That sold for $75. I think I took an offer on them. I think I had them for sale for higher than that. I can't remember exactly, but they sold for 95 or $75. These pair of Brooks Adrenaline running shoe. They have the Boston Marathon Nantucket pattern on them. See the whale there. I remember paying. I believe I paid $5 a piece. I bought like 4 or 5 pair of these from a yard sale. So sold these for $44.99. That was a good sale. Runner probably bought them. Let's see. I sold another kind of interesting. They're not the same, but they seem the same. This is called the Nike Air Force One boot. This is a men's. mid triple black anthracite, and then the model number. Um, Interesting. Another thing to find, oftentimes when you find a shoe, sometimes when you find a shoe in the store, for whatever reason, the person that donated and or the thrift store that's selling them pulls the insole, which is kind of annoying because then it's like you're selling an incomplete shoe and you need that insole or a insole because somebody who's buying it wants to have an insole, even if it's not the exact insole. Which is a pro tip here. If you come across a bunch of cheap insoles, buy them, and then you can add them to a shoe that doesn't have them and just say it's not the original insole, but a new insole. Helps you sell the shoe. But these had no insole, but they were so nice and they were so clean. And I looked them up. I'm like, you know what? I believe I can still sell these and make money without the insole, because somebody who buys this boot is going to want the right insole or want the insole that they want to have in it. So I sold these for $44.99. And I do not remember what I paid for them, to be honest. We'll say 10 or less. I might have paid 15 for these. I cannot remember. But in that ballpark. So wasn't a home run, I wouldn't say. I made 25, 30 bucks. But a decent sale nonetheless. Here's an interesting pair of shoes because, here they are. Because I would probably never, I generally don't buy this brand because they're so, they're not necessarily cheap when you go buy them in the store, but they don't have a great resale value. Clark's, I'll just hold one of them up. Clark's Clarkdale Flow mahogany leather slip-on loafer, size 10.5, good size. But the reason that I sold these, I believe, for a decent price is that they still had the sticker. Now they have some shelf wear on the bottom, and I put that in the listing, I'm sure, and I cleaned them, and they're not perfect, like brand new out of the box, but they are unworn. And they are very nice. And if you were to go buy this pair of shoes new, the person that was shopping might have been in Macy's and they looked up the shoe and they go, oh man, that's just a $130 shoe. I can buy it from this guy, Raymond $25.99 on eBay, and I could pay 53 bucks. And that's exactly what I sold it for, $53.43. So I was happy with that sale. This, I'm sure I can see the price on the bottom, and I would have never paid that. So it must have been half off or even 75% off at a local thrift store. So I either paid, some of these I've bought so long ago, I can't always remember. I either paid $7.50 or $15. My bet is, since they're Clark's like this, I probably wouldn't have paid $15. I'm thinking I was in around the $7.50, $8 range. But even if I paid 15 into 53, or 7.15 to 53, I'm happy with. So that was kind of a nice sale. I just bought these shoes. These are women's. I believe they're called Larry Mahan boots, size 8.5. Not a great boot. Excuse me, it's a decent brand. These weren't in the greatest condition. Now they look good in the pictures, and they are. I did bring them back to life. I oiled them and cleaned them, and they weren't perfect, but they're presentable and nice. But the price reflects that. I think I paid very little for them. I think they had them at a really low price, and this, I don't remember what it is, but I think that's why I bought them, because they were really cheap. Maybe like $4.99 or $5.99, something like that. And I sold them for $33.74, but it was quick. I just listed these last week, so I was happy to make that sale. And then I think this might be the last pair. I do remember what I paid for these because I bought two pair. A lady's husband died and she was selling off his stuff, and I bought a black pair and this is a brown pair, and they're Laredo. I call them, there might be an exact name for them, I call them side zip ankle boots. And if I look in, okay, the actual name is Fletcher Western. And I paid $10 for these and the other pair, I remember. And these pairs sold for $64.12. So that was a good sale. And if I could do that every day, all day with all my items, I would buy as many of them as I can. It doesn't always work that way, obviously. I have a garage full of stuff that proves that. But good sale. So that's some interesting finds over the weekend, or interesting sales over the weekend. Uh, I love shoes. I love selling shoes. Um, I usually sell 1 or 2 or 3 pair a day, something like that. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you a little grouping because how they sold over the weekend. So, hey, take it easy. Look at shoes. Don't buy every shoe. Don't buy a shoe just because it's cheap. Don't buy a shoe just because it's leather. Um, and make sure you look at the shoe when you buy it. Um, but if you kind of learn a little bit about shoes, you could actually make a pretty good penny on shoes. So take it easy. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, but that's my sales for shoes and boots over the weekend. See ya.